Right, so special little webcast here. This is just about finals, including finals locations and how the structure of finals will work for 2019. So with the power of post-production, leaving it in the capable hands of these fine gentlemen behind the camera to put up some graphics. So I'm going to work at it from my laptop here, but you'll see what I'm talking to there. So first of all, we're going through the locations and the events that are happening through the final. So week one will be the 24th and 25th of August, both Saturday and Sunday, and there'll be Elizabeth Rugby Union Club. And that will be both juniors and seniors that are playing both days there. So there'll be qualifying finals on the Saturday and then elimination finals on the Sunday. In week two, so that's the 31st of August and the 1st of September, again at Elizabeth Rugby Union Club. So that will be juniors and seniors on the Saturday, and only seniors are playing on that Sunday there. So because seniors are playing 4 weeks of finals, the juniors are only playing the 3 weeks, as we would have done last year. Then that's why that structure is that. With the first 2 weeks of finals there, and in terms of expressions of interest and how clubs come to be hosts for different grand final or finals events, we put it out to all clubs, the opportunity to express interest if they want to host some finals events. Elizabeth Rugby Union Club were in fact the only club this year who had expressed interest for week one or week two. They'd also expressed some interest for some of the other weeks of finals as well, but given they were the only club that put in for 1 and 2, there wasn't much deliberation around that, so that's why we're heading to Elizabeth for week 1 and week 2. In week 3, this is sort of the big weekend, I think, for it. So on the 7th of September, that's the Saturday, we'll be at Southern Suburbs for the Junior Grand Final and also the NRC match. So that's the National Rugby Championship, professional match being played at South between Melbourne Rising and New South Wales Country. So for that day, come and see some junior grand finals and then watch the NRC match following those junior grand finals there. On the 8th of September, on the Sunday, will be the last of the senior elimination finals. Will be played out at North Torrens on that occasion. And also on the Sunday, on the 8th of September, we'll hold our end-of-season junior gala day, or the JPP gala day. So that's from under 7s to under 10s. We'll have an event there for the morning from around about 8 till 12 at Port Adelaide Rugby Club. So pretty close to North Torrens there for anyone who will be at both events. And then on the Sunday, which we've called week 4, in week 4, I should say, which is the 14th of September, it's a Saturday. We'll be back to South for the seniors grand final. So that will be third grade. It will be the 2 levels of reserve grade, the 2 levels of premier grade, and also the women. So 6 matches, senior matches happening for the grand final there. So that's how the weeks are structured there. I wanted to also go through how we come to splitting up the different grades, if you like. So you can see across the top of this slide here at the moment, there's effectively 4 grades in seniors that we've got this year. There was the Cooper's Premier Grade, then Reserve Grade, the Senior Women, and the Third Grade. So Premier Grade will be split. So the top 5 teams will play off for Premier Grade 1, and then teams 6 to 10, where they end after 15 rounds on the competition ladder, will play off for Premier Grade 2. In Reserve Grade, it's largely the same structure. So the top 5 will play off for Reserve Grade 1, with the bottom 5, or teams 6 to 10, playing off for Reserve Grade 2. So that could mean in your club, so I'll pick on Port Adelaide, for instance, you could have your first grade side or your Premier Grade side playing off for Premier Grade 1 if they end in the top 5, and you could have your Reserve Grade side playing off for Reserve Grade 2, so they might end in position 6 to 10. So you're not necessarily following exactly where your first grade side's going. Then for the Senior Women, so 8 teams that compete in Senior Women, so the top 5 teams from the minor rounds will play off for the senior women's finals. And then in third grade, only 5 teams in third grade competition this year. So all 5 teams will get the opportunity to play off for the third grade finals. So that'll be over 4 weeks, 4 weekends of finals. So how that works in terms of winners and losers and how we track through those 4 weeks of finals. So in this graphic here, I'm starting with the ladder. So you're finishing position on the ladder after 15 rounds. And then we've got week 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is just for the seniors at the moment. And I've just used an example of team 1 to 5. So that's going to be the same for if your team's 6 to 10. It'll be the same structure here for senior men's. It's the same structure for women's and for third grade. So those 5 teams there for a grade. Teams 2 and 3 and teams 4 and 5 will play in week 1. So teams 2 and 3 will play off on Saturday for a qualifier, and teams 4 and 5 will play an elimination game on the Sunday. And then team 1 will go straight through to week 2 of final, so they'll get a week off in the first week. Then in week 2, so team 1 will play against the winner of the qualifier, and that game will be played on the Saturday. The loser of that qualifier will play against the winner of the elimination from week 1. They'll play off against each other, and then the loser, obviously, from week 1 elimination drops off. So again, the top square there is the Saturday game, which is another qualification game, and the Sunday game is an elimination one there for the other. As we move into week 3, the loser of the qualifier in week 2 and the winner of the elimination from week 2 will play against each other for a final elimination game. So that's being played on the Sunday at North Torrens. So that's the final elimination there, with the loser from the previous week elimination dropping off and the winner from the qualifier going straight through to the grand final. And then, of course, the grand final will be the winner from week 3 will play against that winner from the qualifier in week 2, and they'll play off for the grand final. So that's how it's going to work for all of the senior grades. Then if we have a quick look at the juniors, so we've got 4 juniors grades, 18s, 16s, 14s and 12s. In the under 18s competition, there's 6 teams, but only the top 4 play off in finals, so not the top 5 like in the seniors, so only the top 4. So the top 4 play off for 18s. In under 16s competition, there's 8 teams in there, so top 4 play off for finals. In 14s, 9 teams there, top 4 play off for finals. And in the under 12s, again, 9 teams with the top 4 playing off for the under 12s finals. How that will work, so the junior competitions will only play across 3 weeks of finals, which is what we have used in 2018 and before. So of those 4 teams in week 1, team 1 will play team 2 and team 3 will play team 4. So Saturday will be the qualifier for team 1 and 2, Sunday being the elimination, team 3 and 4. Then in week 2, which will be on the Saturday game, there'll be an elimination for the juniors. So it'll be the loser from the qualifier, the winner from the elimination the week before, will play off in an elimination game. And then the winner from week 1 qualifier will go straight through to the grand final, and then the winner from that week 2 match will play off for the grand final. So that's the same structure that we've used in previous years for juniors. It's just the seniors where we've had the adjustment. That about wraps up how our final series is working, where we are, why we are at the locations that we're at, and then also how those finals will work in terms of who wins and who loses and when do we play next. There is some information with your clubs already for their grand final manuals, which has a breakdown of what time all of those games will be played on each day of each of those finals weekends. So if you're a team manager, you probably already have your hands on that document. If not, then ask your club and they'll be able to forward it on to you. Any questions at all on the final series though? Always willing to accept any feedback, and any questions you have, we'll be more than happy to come back to you. Thanks very much.